Welcome everyone to Walking the Weird. I am Tyler, and as always, I have with me,
It's Sean, guys. How's it going?
and we have a case for you today. So what is it?
It's actually the case for the Snedeker family in Connecticut.
Excuse you.
It's based on the movie, or it's based. It's the case that got the.
Wow.
Sorry, the movie A Haunting in Connecticut is based off of this case.
So the only thing that ever happened in Connecticut.
Right, the only important thing that ever happened in Connecticut. Yeah, because before, I didn't even know that was a state.
Do you remember that it is? If you have to name them, you're like, oh shit, yeah, Connecticut exists.
Yeah, it's almost as boring that you think it's actually in Canada. You're like, isn't that next to Toronto? No, it's not.
Does anyone know anyone from Connecticut?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever known anyone from Connecticut?
That's a front for the drug organizations.
Yeah, it's not real.
It's not a real place.
It's like Australia.
Yeah, dude, everything in Australia, and apparently now everything in Arizona is trying to kill you, which is fine. I'm okay with that.
Yep.
So this case is basically what inspired that movie. It's for the family Snedeker, and then the main characters are basically his son, Phil Snedeker. It looks like it is Alan, Tammy, and Lorraine Warren in a picture, and then it shows Bradley, Carmen, Alan Jr., and then Jennifer in the same picture of the picture I'm going to show up here, actually. And it's going to be from left to right. You're going to see that because they were involved. Ed and Lorraine were heavily involved in that case. It's one of the cases that kind of put their name on the map. You know what I mean?
How do you feel about them?
Ed and Lorraine in general, I think that there are some cases that hold water, and I'm like, oh, that might be something, but do I think they overplay a lot? Yes, I think they overplay a lot, but I also think that the people that guided them there under false pretenses.
I think they're. Yeah, about the same.
Because there's been a lot of professional people who are yeah, they investigate cases because they were like, so you really heard this, and they're like, yeah, and they're like, and they would do the investigation. They'd be like, nothing happened, man.
I think in a lot of ways they're grifters,
Yeah.
but I think some of those cases they genuinely believe. I think
what it was is that they
think
gave
they
everyone the
believe
benefit of the doubt until they were like,
I think they did it too much. I think
and it ruined their reputation.
Yeah, I think their faith. Not ruin the reputation, but it made them more susceptible to that.
Yeah.
So this must be this, and because of the movies, I'm sure what they actually said. I'm sure what they say happened is not the movies. It's not what happened, or even they've had interviews. I'm sure they said, oh.
Their company. Their company.
Yeah, a glass moved, but in the movie, the entire room's spinning.
Right.
And
yeah. The glass got thrown against the wall, and then in the movie, it's the whole family got thrown. It's
oh, see, you're going farther than I am. I'm saying it went from here to here,
right?
And they made it I want, like always, I want to believe you. I believe that you believe what you're saying, but it makes it so difficult because it's everything that you're seeing, and to their credit, they said not everything's like a demon or whatever.
Right.
But the way the story has gone, into popular culture and everything, and that's not necessarily their fault. It kind of is, but not necessarily because of their interviews, not because necessarily the movies. That it becomes everything's demons. It's demons, always if you think you have a ghost, you have a fucking ghost, and it's no. Start, and to their credit, they start with the mundane reasonings, or at least they did at the beginning. I think they kind of lost that.
Even in this case, they ask, hey, we should get a professional out here. Look at the gas lines. Look at some type of
you
sewage
have
stuff.
to.
You have to.
Because if you don't,
especially with this type of case,
I don't believe you.
Right. Especially with this type of case, it was one of those things where it's they're avidly hallucinating, and you're like, okay, is it a paranormal hallucination, or is it because you're off your
Yeah.
rocker?
Yeah,
You know
when's
what
the
I
last time you slept? When do you drink? Do you do drugs? Like
Right.
especially back in those days, like, hey, I'm sure those people would not tell you that they're doing drugs. I think now, if they'd be like, yeah, and they'd be like, okay, all right, it's fine.
Hey, we can start
but
there. Okay,
yeah,
let's
that's
figure
fine.
it out.
I
Has this
I
ever
just
happened before on drugs? And then you can narrow it down that way, because we're not saying shit doesn't happen to drug addicts. There's probably a lot of shit that happens to drug
no.
addicts.
I'm saying, but you have to start at
Somewhere.
that point,
Yeah.
because what if every time you've ever taken drugs, you've had a good experience, right? But you're having these experiences like, look, I'm on the drug and it's never like this when
Right.
I'm not home or wherever. It's like everything's fine. I literally go to this room or this place or even my car. All of a sudden, all this shit is happening. Well, it doesn't mean because you're on drugs that it's not real. It means this is a different like stimulus. Like, yeah, you are. I do have to call in question what's actually happening.
Yeah.
But it is weird that every other time you're fine,
Right.
and then this one time.
I think that's how it would be if I told you, that I smoke avidly, and if I told you, hey, there's something like, and I was really scared, I was like, hey, there's something going on. You'd be like, okay, you're never this bad when you smoke, but
I'd be
hang
like,
on.
hey, put it down. Like, but when you're like, bro, I'm not.
I'm never like this.
Yeah,
like,
this is not something like that. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic,
No, you're
but
good.
it's good to start there. I feel in a way I feel bad for them. I think in some ways they got taken advantage of,
yeah,
but they also
definitely.
did it to themselves with their interviews and stuff.
I think they put a target on their back.
Yeah,
I think they put a target on their back. I know they have the museum and everything like that, and even the people who are now the curators of it say that there's a lot of weird shit that happens.
but they have to.
They have to. Yeah,
That's the problem.
they have to.
That kind of shit is where my red flags go all the way up. Where I'm like, I don't believe you.
Right.
I don't.
And even Ed and Lorraine were like, I mean, people can tour it, but please don't do any type of like investigation because they don't like it. And it's like, that's convenient. That's oddly convenient. However, imagine though how hilarious it would be that they
If
actually
it's
do something
genuine.
and like the things like start like ripping open and shit start falling out. You're like,
bro,
oh.
we have to fix this fucking cabinet every goddamn time you come over because you guys freaking film and then it breaks off the hinges and flies across the room.
Do you know how long we had to?
We can't keep fixing this. That's different.
Yeah,
than,
that's
oh,
different.
just don't. No. It's like, no, that makes it suspicious.
Right.
That makes it.
Right. And it's like again, like like it kind of compares and shows the contrast between like some of the cases that these people work, like Ed and Lorraine, where they have like Annabelle and stuff, and then they hit the museum that has like Pete, the other
The little doll.
Yeah, the little
and they
doll.
keep saying like, oh yeah, we literally put him in a glass case because he'll just show up places.
Yeah, he'll randomly show
Yeah.
up, and not just that. Like recently, they said they had to put him in the basement because people started like dying after his visit, and they're like, "Look, I don't know if it's attached, but we're just gonna put him away just in case."
That's still. Yeah, but
But it makes it almost more likely, like it makes it more believable because you're like, he's had a history where he shows up in random places, so you had to put him in a glass.
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's like now it's escalating. It's like maybe there might be something there, maybe there might not.
it's so funny when we first started this thing. I was like, oh my god, maybe now I'm so jaded. I'm like, bro, it's not that. You're like, yeah, it's cool. I'm like,
It's cool.
I'm like, I know it's cool,
Like,
but it's probably not real. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's just like it's really interesting, and I'm just
It's-
like, oh, that's pretty
yeah,
cool. Do I
I'm
think there's
I'm on
anything? No, but
I'm on
it's
the side of I've
hilarious.
looked into this stuff so much to where it's like, that's fake.
Yeah,
That's fake. That's fake. Man, this isn't fun anymore.
and
Like,
that's how it is with us. Like we randomly get into, we're like, oh shit, this is crazy, and then at the end of it, we're like,
this isn't real. This is not real. Like,
not just that, but like for a while, like with just the movie before, because this case was like a random one. It wasn't like anything really popular, and then the movie made it popular. But the movie puts it in such a different light that you're like, oh, that's so cool. And then all of a sudden you read the story, you're like, oh, none of that happened, and they reported it. Like, and this is one of those ones where it's like, there might have been something there, but it was highly over exaggerated, like highly over exaggerated.
Like I've seen so many different videos and stuff of like I know this is one we did, like the Amityville horror.
Yeah.
And they're like the house where all the family was killed and everything. And they say it's super haunted, all this shit. I've seen so many things where they're like they've gone through and said like, hey, this is how all this stuff was made, like it was literally all made to be fabricated to go bigger and bigger and bigger every time because so many people use the deaths of these of all these people for their own gain, and it's like, oh.
And the worst part about it is that before the law came in for Son of Sam, everyone, like a reporter was saying that it was the son who was making all the money off of it, and he's like, what? No, I'm not.
Yeah,
and
no.
he's like in jail rotting, and I mean, he was in jail for rotting, and like everyone else was like, oh, you're making tons of money. He goes, what do you mean?
It's just everyone else made money on that case.
Yeah. And it was just a murder case. It was just a murder case. Like, was it bad? Yes. Is it a little googly of how the circumstance came out? Sure.
Don't get me wrong.
I think the sister did it. I 100% think she did it.
I'm not even going down that road. I'm going down the road of the paranormal part.
Yeah.
The only thing I like about that entire case is the little boy on the staircase. Where they're like doing a paranormal. I think it's that one where they take a picture and they can see like a little kid like staring out. I'm like, that's cool, but no one knows where that came from.
No one knows who it is because the family didn't even have a little boy. It was a girl.
I think maybe it was a little girl. I don't know, but everyone's like, oh my god, that's so like creepy, that cool. I'm like, see, that's cool, but you wouldn't think that you'd be more skeptical if it was just a random house. But because it's that house, all of a sudden it's paranormal. Right. You'd be like, no, you took a picture of your kid in the dark. That's what you did.
Did you see what happened with that one? What it was?
Did they tear it down?
No, that picture.
The picture.
That picture. It's a camera crew guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one of the camera crew guys. He's setting up the camera, and it flashes because he's taking pictures. And when he goes like that, where the way the room is, the bed is against the wall. And the door's right here, so it opens to their dresser, which has like one of those mirrors, and it's it's a lower level. I don't know if you've ever seen those those vanity mirrors.
The half moon.
Yeah, the half moon mirrors, but it's like the desk where you can like sit down in, so it's a little lower.
Yeah,
and it catches his face right away, and then the rest of
and it's just like perfect. Like
it's perfect. It's a perfect height, and he giggled because he's like, "Oh, I could see my reflection. I didn't realize it until I took the picture," but he didn't notice his figure there. And then it wasn't until it leaked that everyone was like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "Oh shit."
I never knew that. Ghosts for me are the least thing I believe in, because everyone's and we're literally right now we are in a house that everyone else I know has had experiences in.
Yeah,
except for me.
Yeah.
My fiance, she had one. I never have. I used to live here, and she had one in the room I used to live in, and I've never had one. Like, it's frustrating because then to tie it back to this. Sorry, we're on a huge giant tangent.
You're good.
Like when I see this stuff, everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is real." I'm like,
yeah, but you have to think about the logical explanations. Like even with me, it's like. Even though I've told you, I've seen certain stuff there. Like, what's the first thing I say? I was like, but it could have been me waking up. It could have just been me.
But the fact that
not being
that
here,
I've never even gotten close to the maybe it's this,
right?
Like, and that's what always frustrates me. I want to know, but I'm like, I'm like the reluctant skeptic. I'm like, man, this would be great, but I have no idea. I never get to experience anything. I've tried and. Nothing. I don't know. So,
yeah. And it could be nothing. It could just be like I said. Maybe we're in between sleep. We just feel something weird. Because I told you about when my cat died that I felt her get up on the bed and I was like, oh shit, she's dead. But again, I was like half asleep. So who knows if it was just me or if it was my fucking head dreaming.
I did have one of those. It's not night terrors. It's a
sleep paralysis.
It's kind of like that, where you see the hag sitting on you. Have you ever heard of that?
I have sleep paralysis.
Okay, I had I had something like that. But I wasn't paralyzed. I was like in between being awake and dreaming, and I knew I was waking up, and whatever that like woman was, she was still there.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think sometimes that gets seen as like ghosts or whatever. I'm like, no, I was having a nightmare.
Yeah.
And it kind of followed me
Outside into the real world.
yeah, and like
Or it
I
could be
wasn't
like-
fully awake, but I
yeah,
knew
like
I wasn't fully awake.
Like a case with Andy, like my brother Andy, he the host from Torn Reels, if you guys don't know.
Check it out.
When you when he's asleep, like we had an instance where we had to take him to the hospital, and he was like asleep. He was really sick. He had like fever and all that shit, but he was like passed out. And the lady came up and was like, "Hey, we're gonna give you an H1N1 test." And like they woke him up, and he's like, "Huh?" And then they went to go take the test, and my mom was like, "Whoa, wait, stop!" And she's like, "Wait, what's going on?" I was like, "We're like, he's not awake." And he's like, "Yeah, he is." He's like, he's reacting. His people. He's like, he's not awake. And then I looked at him. I was like, "Andy," and I snapped. And he's like, "Huh? What's going on?" And I was like, "They're giving you a test." He goes, "For what?" And I was like, "H1N1." He goes, "Oh, what do I have to do?" And he's like, "Just look in here." And then like, they stick the Q-tip down. And he's like, "Oh, that was fucking annoying." I was like, "See, he wasn't awake."
Yeah.
And the doctor was like, "That's fucking unusual."
Yeah, no, I literally, I wasn't afraid. I just remember, all I can remember of it is I was halfway to being awake because the dream kind of went away, except for her. And I could start seeing like my bed and like the room and stuff. Like it's almost like something blurring, like being blurry and kind of coming into focus. And so I knew I was like waking up, like, because it's like my brain started. It was a weekday. I'm like, oh, I got to get ready for work, and then but this thing is still there, and I'm like,
The opacity of your dream was going down.
yeah, literally, yes, and I was just like, oh, and then it went away, but I just remember it because I was like, no, you weren't that.
That wasn't real.
How
It
many
was just my
people are like,
brain.
oh my god, I saw a ghost? It's like, no, you weren't awake. Your brain is still waking up.
But
That's all that was.
some people don't realize that
Yeah.
occurs for them. You know what I mean? So they're
And I've
the
only ever had
opposite.
it
Yeah.
once, I think. I think. But
Yeah, I think.
I yeah, and I was just like, oh, okay. And I went about my day. I didn't go, oh my God, it was a ghost.
Yeah. And
Like-
that's where I get scrutiny because I have sleep paralysis, so I have that. And for me, it's not always like the hag lady; it's random stuff. And then for me, but since I know what it is, I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah, I wasn't afraid. I just remember not being afraid.
yeah. In
I
the
was
moment,
just like, oh, I know what you are. Okay.
yeah. And in the moment, like for me, I get stuck. Like I actually get stuck, and it's hard for me to wake up. And it's the frustration of not being able to wake up rather than the fear. It's like, oh, come on, I just want to.
Hey, can you move?
Yeah. Well, me? Oh no.
No,
thought you-
I could move.
I thought you were saying like, can you move like to the?
Oh
like,
no,
I
no,
was
no!
like, yeah,
Sorry,
can you move?
sorry, no. Like I just remember because I could move. Like I remember just being in the sheets and like I could move. I was fine.
Oh no, I can't.
And it
I'm
was
stuck.
still like it was like if you took a like a 3D like a CGI person like wrapped in like rags and robes and stuff.
Yeah.
And she's just staring at me.
you. Yeah.
And I'm like, but I clearly my brain instantly is like, oh, you're not real.
Yeah.
Okay, but like, I don't. It's hard to describe
Right.
because I didn't have the sleep paralysis part, so I could just like get up. Like it wasn't like, oh my god, I wasn't.
It's typically believe it or not, it's typically like an after effect of insomnia. It's because your body's been so out of whack for so much time.
Yeah, well,
that when you actually go to sleep, it like locks you in.
Yeah.
But for
Mine
some
is
people, it's worse
opposite.
than the other way.
because like I have sleep apnea, so mine's probably like I'm exhausted all day. So by the time I sleep, I'm so deep into it
yeah.
that it maybe sometimes it can't like the chemicals can't get there fast enough to wake me up like
Right.
normal. It's like, dude, you
But your body runs on autopilot. 'cause
yeah.
you
So
had
it's like
such a-
okay,
yeah.
let's go, and then it's like oh,
No.
I'm still in dream world. Like
Right.
yeah.
Right, that makes sense, and it's usually like that. Like this case, the reason that they ended up in Connecticut was because their kid Phil, he had what is it, Hodgkin's or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma? I think he was Hodgkin's lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's. Oh, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, which by the way, remind me to send you a meme of the Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Okay.
Fucking hilarious. Actually, I'm gonna tell you too right now. It's it's a meme, and it's a dude who discovered cancer. He's like, look, and its last name is Hodgkins. And there's the other one where it's like really long last name. It's like Obdiatritis triasim or whatever, and he goes, you know what, just non-Hodgkin's, like just not this guy's. And it fucking
That
made
poor
me laugh.
guy's like, wow. Are you that non-Hodgkin's guy? Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. But anyway, no, it was fucking hilarious for people who understand that joke. It's fucking great. Anyway, so he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's basically a type of cancer that affects the body's lymphatic system. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, he was getting treatments at the University of Connecticut. Right? I actually think it's University of Connecticut Hospital for treatment for specifically designed for cancer, and they were going back and forth. What's up?
I get this case's movie mixed up with the Amityville Horror one all the time.
Yeah, me too. I used to always get it mixed up.
I'd be like, because they would blend together. Sorry, go.
Yeah.
As you're saying, I'm like,
I think
that's the Amityville Horror one, and I'm like, wait, no, it's
I
not.
think one of the directors of Amityville Horror did the same movie.
I'm sure they did
That's
it all at the
probably
same
why-
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they lived outside of Connecticut, and he was getting treatment there. So they decided, hey, let's move to this place. It's based on the same house, and I believe the address was 208 Meridian Avenue, and it was like a 5-bedroom, two bathroom house. It had a basement, it had an attic, and all that stuff. What the family later discovered when they all moved in is that the basement had acted as a funeral home.
Okay.
That's not uncommon, especially in those areas, because small towns, whatever. You
You
know,
gotta run somewhere.
yeah, people had bakeries in their
Wait,
attic or in their
Question: Was it
basement
a
and stuff.
morgue or just the funeral home?
It's a morgue. It's a full-on morgue. So back then, the funeral homes and the morgues were the same. Were one and the same. So they would.
That makes sense. Yeah.
They would do like the not the autopsy, but they would do like disposing of the organs, doing all embalming and all that stuff right there, preparing the body basically at the end. So a lot of it was like medical shit, right? So they claimed that when they found out that it used to be a morgue and a funeral home, they claimed that they had found a door in the basement that ended up being a divider for the room. So the basement was supposedly a bit longer than what it showed on Blueprint. And they broke down the door and they said they found a bunch of like medical equipment, like tables and everything like that and all that stuff.
Just like stored in there.
Yeah, like all stored in there, like maybe old canteens of like formaldehyde, stuff like that. You know, like typical stuff, like nothing out of the ordinary. But I can see how kids and maybe the family, they're like, oh, that's a little. You know, I wouldn't live there personally, but you know,
If it was me, if I found that, bro, I would be renting out that basement as like a death metal music video place. Are you fucking kidding me?
$3,000,
Dude, you can rent it for everything. Original shit. Sorry, but like,
Just have Cannibal Corpse in there.
no. We do not want Cannibal Corpse. Now, at least the lead singer. No.
Yeah, no. But he's a nice guy, though. He's a nice guy. Do you know what he does?
Prison.
What, the lead singer?
Uh-huh.
What did he do?
You didn't hear about that?
The guy with the big neck or Chris Barnes?
I don't. Maybe it was him, but one of them is in prison.
For what? Are you sure you're talking about the right band?
I think so.
Are you sure you're not talking about Tim Lambesis who tried to kill his wife?
No, that's different. That's a different guy.
Yeah. That
No,
guy's a
it's
piece
not
of
about
shit.
that. Yeah.
Great music. Piece of shit, though.
No, his is. Look it up after. It's bad.
All right. Well, I'll have to look at it. The only thing I know about the lead singer of Cannibal Corpse is that he's really good at the claw machine. So he donates all his winnings to the Children's Hospital.
And his neck is bigger than his head.
And his neck is bigger than his head.
Yeah. But
yeah.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
I'll look into that. I'll look into that before I praise
yeah.
this guy. But anyway, the medical room should be rented out as a fucking.
That'd be great.
studio.
Like you have black metal bands down there.
Yeah. You even fly them out from Norway.
Dude, you
Fucking
could just
weirdos.
if you're ever like hard up for money, you could literally just rent out your basement to like goth chicks.
Hilarious that you'd mentioned that. So anyway, we're gonna keep going with the case.
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying. Like if
the reason I'm saying hilarious that you'd mentioned that. So they found the medical equipment and they basically started trying to investigate what was going on. And they found out that a morgue used to be there, a funeral home, blah 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 blah. And they found like there was a few people that had gone missing that had been found, that were dead there and all that stuff, and that had been buried and like normal shit for like a mortuary.
Wait, what?
What?
Like at the house?
Yeah, they had been missing and they had been found dead, and they were taken to that morgue.
Oh,
And
okay. You
prepared.
didn't say that part. I'm like, they found them dead in the house.
No. No.
Why would you buy that?
No, sorry. No. Like people locally had gone missing during that time, and they would die, and like their bodies came. And the reason that that's relevant is because a lot of people said that their spirits, since they went missing, were locked inside there. Right?
Okay. All right.
This is
Yeah,
part of
that's different. I was like, whoa! Like they just found it. Like no one ever looked. Like jeez.
So this is
The house is all fucked up.
So this is one of the things that were considered for the possible explanation for what was happening, because the family started saying that they were experiencing paranormal ongoings in their home. One of the paranormal ongoings was the mom was trying to mop the floor, and she said that there's a few kids that witnessed it that were her kids and stuff that witnessed it, that said that while she was mopping, the water turned to blood. And it had a smell of like decomposition. She said she witnessed that, and then she would witness the chairs on their table being stacked, like it would stack and then unstacked. So apparently this ghost was like a super neat freak. He's like, you got to make sure you get all
OCD.
the floor. Yeah, right, exactly.
That's pretty insanitary.
Yeah, it's like anyway. But the point is, they would stack the chairs and everything, and then apparently. They witnessed the dishes. Like she said that she would move the dishes to a place, and the dishes would show back up. As soon as she put them down, they were back to where they were originally, and she couldn't remember. Sorry.
I just want to say something. I'm sorry to cut you off.
What's up?
I was about to make a 40K joke. For like corn, the blood for the blood god. What if he's just a weird 40K player? He's trying to paint his army. I don't know.
And you're just fucking with
sorry.
him. Like, no, it's true though. I totally get it. And so basically,
Citadel paints ain't cheap, bro. Like,
help him out, man.
Yeah.
No, but so
that's why he was getting mad. He had to stack shit to calm him down. He's not. He
had to reorganize.
He's not evil. He's just autistic.
So, basically, the rumor mill
that
spread.
makes sense, doesn't it?
Right, it does.
Literally, I bet you those and the chairs were probably stacked like perfectly.
They were stacked in like a pyramid.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I was like, oh, you're definitely autistic.
Yep. You didn't give him cards.
No, but so the rumor mill obviously spread, and in the town and everything like that, that these people were having paranormal goings on. And they were like, they started talking about like how they thought like the original story, how they had heard rumors of the guy being involved with like black magic and like not necrophilia, but necromancy and stuff like that. And it was just rumors. There was no evidence ever found that they partook in anything. It kind of sucks because the popular movie, that's like what the whole movie's based about. Like they were doing necromancy.
Yep.
Like they took out their eyelids and like they would carve like random spells and everything like that. And basically one of the scenes in that movie took an incident that actually happened and like made it really bad. So apparently what happened is that the kid Philip apparently was during this time was going through chemo and all that stuff, and one of the medications he was on, he was told, hey, it can cause severe hallucinations, can cause paranoia and stuff like that. It's normal cancer stuff. Like it's pretty basic.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a question. Yeah. What year did this happen?
This happened in
like did it kind of they move in start? What year did you say?
1986.
Okay, that's what I thought. I don't have it here, but I'm sorry. My skeptic brain is going crazy because around that time is when The Shining came out.
Yeah,
with the blood and the that's the first thing I'm like.
It's stereotypical.
When they're like, oh, like did they see that? I'm sorry. Go on.
No.
I just say like that was my first time. I'm like, huh. You have that happen right around within the few years where The Shining was really, really big. Maybe I don't know if it was out yet, but like
I think it was out in '84, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it might have been before, or right after. Anyway, the point is, he was being treated with all this. He was he was told, hey, you have a high risk of paranoia, anxiety, basically you have hallucinations and all that stuff.
And again, he probably saw this stuff, but other people saw it too. This was not just him.
No, it was not just him. Other people,
that changes it because it's like, Oh,
Other people witnessed these weird things, like other people in the family.
blood, the chairs, the dishes. Like,
this is where people started getting skeptical because it was just a family that witnessed it. There were people like priests and stuff like that that went in, and some priests felt like, okay, hey, there might be, a little something here. It may be a little googly, but nothing like outwardly like, hey, bro, like there's something here, you're gonna die. Like, no, nothing like that. Anybody who did visit that house didn't experience anything. The previous owners were like, I mean, lights came on and off sometimes, but that could be like the electrical. That could be us that we didn't see it. It's old house. Like, this was built in like the 1800s. Like, there could be a lot of things. Like, they're like, oh, we heard
depends
creaking.
on how hard you flip the switch. Because I know my house, literally, if you don't hit it hard enough, it'll sit in the middle. And sometimes it'll flicker, but it's not because there's ghosts. It's because I didn't hit the switch hard enough.
Yeah.
Like,
sorry. Sometimes no. Sometimes when you go, like, even I do it when I'll go like this to the switch.
Yeah, if you bright
and I'm not paying attention, or I'm like kind of high, and like I won't lift it up all the way, and like I said, it stays in, like you said, it stays in the middle, and it goes, and I'm like, oh shit, my bad. But it shocks me too, so I'm like, but it happens. You know what I mean?
Fucking ground your house. Jesus.
I had water in my hands. Leave me alone. Okay. Anyway, the point, dude, ground your house. No, the point is
just get some copper wire and freaking
bro.
Burn one of those incense. Do both. I don't know. Just do something.
Something, bro. You shouldn't be getting shot. No, so he was having this issue, and like a lot of people witnessed these things, but again, it was only the family. Mm-hmm. One of the things that did happen though that people thought was weird, and this happened with his little brother. It was
the non-sick one.
The non-sick one. Okay. The non-Hodgkinsy. That one. The non-lymphomic person. Anyway, damn it, that's bad. I'm sorry. I'm going to hell. Anyway, the point is, they found one of the things that they found was like a stretcher or like a table that they put him on. So in the movie, it shows like the older brother spinning the fucking medical table and spinning it over and over and over and over again. So that really happened. They found it. The little brother got on top of it and he was spinning it. And the little brother says, for whatever reason, I looked up at Philip and he looked angry. And he was just spinning it repeatedly. And then finally, it's like he said he snapped out of it and then he like stopped himself and he goes, are you okay? And he goes, my young mind was like, yeah, I'm fine. But I got off the table and I ran like as quickly as possible. And he goes, and I would see my older brother like talking to things or whatever. One of the things that the older brother said that he saw was a little boy. Was another little boy that would talk to him. He didn't refer to him as a little boy, but he said it was an underage boy. Like it was a boy his age, if not a little younger. So like either in his early teens or whatever. And he goes, I would see him and he's burnt. He's like burnt. He goes, and he talks to me every day. He talks to me all the time, just like the movie said. However, it wasn't as scary as the as the movie made it seem. Like the guy was like all being weird. He's like, no, I just saw him from afar, but I knew he was burnt somehow.
Because I remember hearing a story. I don't know. I think it's this case where they would like the kids would know at night. Like, okay, here it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they knew weird shit would start happening at night.
They would they would like the lights were going off and everything like that. Yeah, there was a bunch of weird shit going on.
It would just every time they would go to bed.
Right. Or around the time they would go to bed. Yeah. And it's funny because that's what led to more speculation later or like more skeptics, because a lot of the times when people have that strong of medication, especially when they're cancer patients, they throw fits because they're in pain or they're hallucinating out of their brain or whatever. So it kind of correlates with specifically at nighttime and then during the time when probably the pain is the worst or the delusions are the worst.
Yeah, but if it's only him seeing it, that's one thing. But if it's other people, it kind of throws a wrench into that.
But that's what skeptics are saying. It's like it's weird that it happened during the time that he was going through this, that the other people witnessed it, because if they were too young, they would just interpret it as something happening instead of their brother dying to like, you know what I mean?
And I'll give it to the people like believers and stuff. When you are going through traumatic events like that, or like you're going out of your mind, technically it like thins the line between worlds, between planes, and you can it's like you're accidentally inviting something in to you're and with the stress, with the probably anger, the emotions you're giving off, you're feeding. You could be feeding something that needs that. So I'm sorry. I'm just
No,
trying.
you're fine.
Because usually I'm like,
That's
no, but
actually
like
perfect.
that's a lot of times what I hear is like
Yeah, and it's worse because they
nothing
told
happened until
they
like my parents started fighting, and then all of a
right.
sudden shit would just go crazy.
And
Like,
it's always speculated that it's between
it's
stressors or during
yeah.
critical times that the veil thins or whatever, and that planes intercross, like you said, which is funny because this kid was given a death sentence. Like this is something that he was
So
dying of.
he was dealing with that.
With
That's
that,
a
yeah.
constant one. Even that, I think like I'm no expert, but even knowing that, I think that kind of that weakens the veil as well.
Right.
Even though you're not dead and you're not necessarily close to it,
Right.
just knowing, just having that on your mind all the time, it's like it's like leaving the door to your house open.
Right.
I'm sorry, unlocked. Not open,
Right.
just locked. So if something wanted to come in, it could come in. But I just wanted to kind of give them at least that, like, hey, I do understand. I know what you guys are going to, the people that actually believe this is real.
Right.
I'm sure whatever's there was empowered by them being there. I'm
Probably.
sure, especially with like kids, I've always heard that like they are. It's not even like a pure thing. It's just they have so many emotions all the time. It's so dysregulated, especially if it's like teens or close to teens, that it gives off more energy.
So now here's where things started going a little bit
Haywire.
weirder. More haywire. Carmen and Alan, which are the two other siblings of the boy. I believe they're siblings. I want to say that before we do this because it's going to have a very weird implication. I just want to make sure. Just make sure. So yes, I think it is the two younger. Yeah. Oh no. I'm sorry. This is the husband. I thought it was Junior, but it's not Junior. So Carmen and Alan Senior, the father, had claimed that these forces had gotten out of control after a certain amount of time. The boy that he had seen that was burnt and had like long black hair to his hips now started threatening Philip. Both Alan and Carmen had said that these entities that they saw within the house began raping and sodomizing them.
The parents.
Not the kids. I thought it was the kids too. I was trying to make sure that before this happened.
That
if it's the kids,
it's like that's convenient.
That's why I wanted to double check. Yeah. So it didn't say Alan Jr. It said Alan Sr. Now, okay. I don't know if the actual report is Alan Sr., but it says Alan Sr., father, is the one who said that he experienced the sodomy from this entity. And so did the mother. They experienced rape and sodomy. So now this is where people were like, oh shit. Because if you heard about the kids, you're like, bruh.
Yeah, sure. They're getting taken away.
But when the adults say it, you're like, wait a minute. Hang on. You said the adults said it? Like, that becomes a different issue. That's where people started seeing, like, either this is super fake or this is really real. It's where it started getting more divided. Now, by this time that they had experienced that, Philip's personality, I guess, had gone haywire. He was way more irritable and everything like that, which doctors concluded, yeah, like that makes sense. Going through everything he's going through, he might be just a tad bit angry.
Why is he so mad? Are you?
I don't know. He's dying.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and he just has to deal with all of you,
constantly.
Yeah. And this shit.
Yeah. If it's real, like he has to actually deal with it. And if it's not real, it's worse because that means he's getting worse and now he has to deal with that shit. So it's...
Or maybe it's only real for him.
Right. Or it's only real for him.
That's literally worse.
Yeah. And that's literally worse. Now, the movie tried to make it seem that the medication he was on was experimental and if he was suffering from hallucinations, they would pull him. So it made it seem like he was supposedly like hallucinating and didn't tell the doctors. But even the doctors came out and was like, no such thing happened. He wasn't on any like experimental trial or anything. Like, no, he wasn't he was on something that could cause hallucinations, but he wasn't like on an experimental trial. Like we wouldn't have pulled him from the treatment. We would have just been like, hey, let me give you like an antipsychotic so these effects don't fuck you up. But they said that the doctors never, when they consulted with the family, they never said anything about hallucinations. They never said anything like that. They never did anything like that. Ultimately, the cherry top that the movie put out and that semi happened in real life was the ending where it shows that Philip went into remission.
That's good.
He went into remission. He did. And the movie made it seem like it was the spirits.
Yeah. Like they kind of went away. And all of a sudden he's fine.
And he was fine. And then at the end of the movie, you see that he's unconscious and you see the boy that he supposedly saw. And then the other priest who's dying of cancer is looking at him and he kind of sees him. And then now the boy can't see him anymore because he's supposedly alive. They made it very dramatic in the movie. In reality, the doctors were like, no, he went into remission. Like, that's what we were going for. That was the point.
Yeah.
He goes, that was the point. That was the point of the treatment, which unfortunately ended with him losing his battle to cancer a few years later.
Oh, he did pass away?
He did pass away, unfortunately. That's from what I heard in the reports. Again, maybe if the reports are wrong, maybe he survived. I have no clue. But according to the story, or to what they call the official story, he passed away a few years later. And it was very unfortunate, and the Snedeker family, had the service and all that stuff and everything like that. So, that sucks for them. What a lot of skeptics were saying, and that was pretty much the story. That concluded the story, that it happened with that. The priest did what they could, but there was really they didn't witness anything. You know what I mean? And then that's when a lot of skeptics started coming out and saying, like, hey, it's very weird that the Snedeker family was saying all these things were happening during the time that they were going through major financial struggles, major financial issues. And it was reported by Ed and Lorraine as well that they were going through these really like bad, as the way they said it, is an uphill battle with bills and like medical bills and basically finances. Is how Ed and Lorraine,
and the kid having cancer, and having to pay for it all,
right?
Yeah.
And Ed and Lorraine originally, when they did this, they were like, they didn't think it was 100% real. They thought there were some goings on, but nothing to that way. And it's one of those things where people think that Lorraine was like this like medium and stuff. She wasn't really. Like, she was just kind of like knowledgeable about that shit. She never claimed, I don't think she ever claimed to be a medium. She might have, but I don't think she ever did. But a lot of like, even the tapes that they did, they were like, there might not really be anything here. It might just be the house is really old and they're like hallucinating because of gas or whatever. But it also might be affecting the kid who's hallucinating more because he's already out of his mind. Like, and not that he was crazy. It's just the medication that he was on was making him like that.
Yeah.
Like, Philip had nothing like mentally wrong with him really until the medication, because side effect. Yeah. But they thought that maybe there was something going on with the house that made other people hallucinate, and that,
or everyone's taking his meds.
Intravenously is a little hard, but I get your point.
But there's the one point you brought up that actually ruins the whole thing for me that I didn't know is the rape and sodomy thing.
I knew that one's the one that was going to get you. That one, I was like, that's too far.
No. It's because if that's happening to you, you're going to stay in a place where you're being raped and sodomized.
Yeah.
You're going to allow the chance of your children. Maybe you'll just deal with it, but you're going to allow your children to possibly
be sodomized.
That's where I'm like,
sorry. Now, I don't know how much longer they stayed in their house after that. They might have left right away, or they might have stayed there for a few years and done it. But you never know.
It's like,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's a lot for me to believe.
Right. And it's
especially, they seem like they're caring parents because they tried to keep their son alive. Like they tried. They didn't just
They succeeded for a while.
Yeah.
Like, the treatment worked. Like,
yeah, I mean, that's where I'm like,
but that's a But that's a risk with cancer. Even if the treatment works once, when it comes back, it's like 8 or 9 times worse.
But and that's nothing against the parents, but like if I'm not a parent, but if that was happening to me and there was no like culprit, I guess, no criminal, not
it's easy to blame something.
No, not even that. Why would you think you're just gonna trust it that it's not gonna hurt your kids?
Yeah, true.
No, I would never trust it, especially if it did that to you. It violated you.
Right.
What's this?
What is stop it from doing anything?
There's nothing.
Nothing.
The priest can't even help you because they can't find anything.
They don't detect it.
That's my biggest red flag. That's where I'm like, nah, this is bullshit.
Yeah, because even priests are like, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like,
and they're
can't.
I
because in order to do like people don't realize it, but in order to do exorcisms or like cleansings in the house, they have to get approved.
Yeah,
like
permission. It's not just like I can come in on Sunday. It's fine.
You don't get your friend from the Hobby Lobby to just fucking wave sage around it. Like, I mean, you can. It doesn't work, but you can. But no, like those, like the official ones or whatever.
No, you have to
get approved.
You have to have evidence and all of like.
Well, and they're pretty, but they're pretty strict with it.
Yeah, they are very strict with it because you have to get it. You have to get it signed off by like the priest, like the archdiocese of the area you're in, and then I think they send it to Rome.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's, I don't know. But,
I don't know if it's like Rome or if it's like a representative. But it's supposed to be from there
like,
or whatever.
But it's like you have to get the priest to sign off, the archbishop of your like congregation or like not just your church, but like it's like having like a district. Like you have to get them to sign off. It's a whole thing.
Right.
It's not
a huge thing.
It's not we went into the church and he's going to be here tomorrow. Yeah. It's months. It's
and in a lot of the Ed and Lorraine cases that they've done, either exorcisms or any type of ritual like that, they've explained that it's like it's not a quick process. You can't just drive through an exorcism. Like, you know what I mean? It's like it takes months and everything.
That's usually why they just give them, like, the priests try to help. They give them like holy water. Like, hey, here's some holy water. Here's a Bible.
Let's figure this out.
Walk around your house. Say this.
And they sound like tropes, but it's like they're not tropes. They're just like, hey, if this helps the situation because we're not finding anything, maybe it's again because mass hysteria is everywhere. It's even in the religion where it's like it could just be your imagination going wild, which is fine. It's like, and we understand. Yeah, it's a hard time. We get it, but not everything is demons, and not everything is that. And again, Ed and Lorraine have shown it with like the Conjuring. Like there were legitimate pictures of like the girls flying and like all that stuff. It wasn't like they were being thrown across the room like in the movie, but they were like, it's like that's a little that's a little 2 feet of something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's
I hope it's real.
Dude, I would love it too. There was one that did kind of get me a little bit. It's the one that the movie The Conjuring 2 is based off of, where the little girl is witnessing the old man who died in the chair, and they're doing all that because they had like a specialist who was like a ventriloquist. He's like, bro, she'd have to be doing that for like 15 years. How old is she? And they're like 7. He's like, oh yeah, no, that's not her. That's not her doing that. He's like, fuck, that's really hard. He goes, I mean, maybe, but like, because according to, I don't know if, I think we did the case.
Because like her vocal cords wouldn't be able to do that. Like she wouldn't.
Not just that, she was drinking water. Ed made her drink water while they asked the entity. Yeah, and the entity was still talking, and he's like, "Oh,
see that's cool. Like, but
it's cool, but it's not like impossible. Like someone can learn that skill. Like you can learn that skill to do it.
Someone else could be throwing their voice,
or someone else could be throwing their voice. Yeah,
even doing that. By the way, even if it's not paranormal, that's still cool. Throwing. I would like to learn how to throw my voice.
Dude, I would fuck with everybody if I learned how to throw my voice. Oh, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'd fuck with everybody.
You see this tablet? I just like have it on a freaking counter. Hey, like what the fuck?
What the?
And I could do that with just video equipment too. So
yeah,
but that's not as fun.
But that would be like really cool. Like there's a lot of cases and stuff like that where it was really cool. Like one of the cases, again, another one of the cases for Ed and Lorraine where it's like the devil made me do it, where an older brother of a family killed his landlord over a dispute. And then he said, and he said that it was the devil, and the fucking the Warrens like testified, and they were like, did you? I don't know if you ever saw it. They were like really wishy-washy about their testimony.
Yeah,
not like they didn't believe it or like it didn't happen.
Oh,
they were like, just... like the attorney asked him questions like, "Hey, did you perform an exorcism on his little brother?" It's like, "Yes." "Did you get the Vatican approval to do it?" "Yes, we did." It's like, was there weird things happening in the house?" "Yes, there was." "Yeah." It's like, did you hear this specific sentence where the older brother said, "Hey, take me instead"? And Ed and Lorraine were like, "Yes." Like, we did hear that. Like, that was on the tape. And they're like, "So do you have any reason to doubt that the older brother, is it possible that the older brother could be possessed?" "Yes, but and then they never asked him, "Do you think that the older brother's possessed?" Because they would have been like, "No." Like, they had even released it afterwards in one of the documentaries about that case, and even about this case, that they were like, "Yeah, we didn't think there was anything there. Sorry about that."
And there's no reason to be sorry. Like they shouldn't be hesitant. They should be like, no.
I think it was the reason they were hesitant is because the way the lawyer was framing it, like,
Yeah,
giving him direct.
I'm saying with like this stuff, and it's just like, no, like,
no, that wasn't not anything.
You have to be careful with this stuff, because when you're not, it gets taken out of hand, as you can clearly see by this case.
Right.
Go watch the movies.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Like,
it's a completely
I don't care
different
what
thing.
you believe. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Demon, everything, fine. All that's real. That didn't happen.
Yeah. Like again, in The Conjuring 1, they were talking about how the lady that was possessed, she couldn't walk outside because she would start like having like cuts and burns and everything like that. And like Ed and Lorraine were like, she just screamed when she went outside. Like, we couldn't take her outside because she would start like fucking throwing a fit and screaming. She never like burned or anything like that. It's like, could it be that we were just taking her out from the house? And because they were like there was actually like a possible case of possession there. So they were like, could it be that we were taking it from the dwelling? Yes. Could it be that maybe she didn't want to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agoraphobia is a thing.
Like,
it's
but could it have been the entity that didn't want to leave? Yeah. Did she burn? And no, she did not. Like, that's
and maybe
not
the
thing.
entity was agoraphobic.
Maybe. Or maybe it's like they said, maybe it is the dwelling, like, because the demonic entity was in that dwelling, it's stuck
bound
there.
to it, yeah.
Right. And that could be it. But don't exaggerate and be like, oh, she was burning and like there was smoke. It's like,
yeah, I think the real stories on all this stuff is way more entertaining than that.
yeah.
Because I find it fascinating. I'm like, oh, cool. Like this one, I'm sorry, I don't believe you. Anytime anyone's like, oh my God, I was haunted because I have this item or that item. I'm like, especially when it's like morgue equipment. I'm sorry, that's another red flag.
Yeah.
Why aren't, like, I'm sure there's morgues that are said to be haunted. I'm sure there's plenty of them.
Yeah.
But wouldn't every morgue be haunted? Wouldn't we be able to easily capture this stuff?
Yeah, because a lot of people that end up in the morgue die horrendously.
Yeah. A lot of them, drug overdose, they die, like you said, horrendously, in horrible amounts of sorrow and pain.
Not just
Isn't that like how you make, like...
Yeah, or like where people were like, oh, when they don't realize that they're dead. I was like, bro, I wonder how many people in Connecticut were driving motorcycles and like ended up in that morgue because they didn't, or even on horseback where they got bucked and they landed on their head and they didn't realize that they died.
They never woke up again.
And they never woke up. Yeah. It's like,
where's their ghost?
Yeah. Why isn't he walking around? And for that matter, why would those ghosts not be like freaking out?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you don't know you're dead, wouldn't you freak out if you like woke up and you're like, what the fuck?
Scared, angry. But they always go to the anger part. I'm like, no, like, I think most people would be genuinely terrified.
Or what about the people who actually wanted to die when they got what they wanted? Oh, cool. Hey, bro, we won this time.
Well,
you know what I mean? Not that there's people out there like that, but
no. What I mean by that is, if you're that person that wants to die, you're dead. Now you're a ghost. So apparently, if ghosts work the way they say they do, they would hate that.
Yeah.
I'm like, can I just go to oblivion, please?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, great.
So how did I fuck up this too?
Yeah, like I don't want to be here. Like, morgues are one of those places where I'm like, go there. Where's the evidence? They should be fucking crawling with it.
Right.
Like, but it's not. Like, I'm sure there's videos. I'm sure there's pictures.
And then you get people like this that either over exaggerated or do all that, and it's like,
oh, there's old morgue equipment. Well, there's old morgue equipment fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
There's equipment for a lot of different things that you don't know, especially is used in the like death industry. You have no idea about. Why do you never hear about like the haunted freaking like lawn equipment?
Sorry, that was my phone. I forgot to silence that. That's my fault. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. but do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
no.
where's the haunted lawn equipment
And
that
not
they
just
use that they use for the grounds? Where's the haunted backhoe that they use?
Haunted backhoe.
Like, come on! I know,
that, like,
I know, it
during-
sounds ridiculous, but if that's how
But
it
no,
works,
there's a bunch of trades. There's a bunch of trades that occurred in that time that were used very regularly, that were used in houses, like even bootlegging. When you had, there was people that I personally know that I was like, hey, yeah, I bought this house on an auction, and they tore down a wall and they found an entire fucking mill to make gin, and he's like, what the fuck is all this?
where's
and
the haunting for that?
Yeah. They died horribly. They were died in mafia wars. Like, bro, you know what I mean? But it's people that have like, they go above and beyond for whatever reason. And we don't know why. And it's like, and it discredits cases that are like legit where you're like, hey, bro, something happened here.
This might be a thing. It's always that kind of stuff where I'm like, I won't. Come on,
Yeah.
like I want to believe you. I think this is real, but
Yeah.
I.
Like, okay.
So
When I was,
I think sorry. I
No,
think
go
this would be a good test. Is take morgue equipment, wash it, sterilize it, don't bless it, give it to someone. Don't tell them what it's from.
that's probably what they do.
See if they're haunted.
That's probably what some people
See
do.
if there's evil, or I'm sure there's not.
Like, okay, another thing is like
I think that's a good test.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
a good
know,
test.
Like
Yeah.
if that's what they say it is, like
yeah, then you
give
should
it-
be able to do that. Then
Yeah.
you should be able to not feel anything and be like, this is just equipment.
or give them go to a church like, oh, they said like this cross is iffy, all this stuff. Give it to someone.
yeah.
Don't say it's from a church.
You find a motherfucker that can give you specifics.
Uh-huh.
Be afraid. At that point, be like, oh, hang on, there might be something here. If
Well,
a person who
No. I'm saying it the opposite. If they're like, oh, this is from a haunted church, all of a sudden you have hauntings too. Oh yeah, well duh. They placed it in your head. That have it.
no, but I mean like a
completely-
person that person that's never came in and been like, yeah, this belongs to fucking Jamie Randolph, 5'3", 180 pounds, died this way, and you're like, oh fuck, like yeah. I'd be like, oh, hang on, there's something.
Yeah, why
here.
do you know all this?
Why do you know? Yeah, why do you know
I think
this?
It'd be an interesting, like, experiment to do. Is even to me, since I'm a skeptic, go get a bunch of morgue equipment and give it to me.
Why don't we go to the Cecil Hotel? I've been pitching this forever. Let's go to the Cecil Hotel.
Because I'm gonna be bored. Because nothing's gonna happen to me.
That's the point.
I'm gonna walk out
That's
to
the
get.
point.
I'm gonna walk out to get some water, and there'll be shit flying and going through the walls. And I'm gonna come back in. You're gonna be pissing yourself. I'm like, what happened?
Well,
Like,
actually, you probably where I want us to stay. You probably can't walk out because you die.
and not from ghosts.
No, not from Ghost. Not from Ghost. The crackheads. Not from Ghost. The crackheads. So maybe you might want to stay
zombies.
in the room.
Zombies.
Whatever. You know.
We were worried about ghosts, and instead it's zombies.
Yeah, but they might actually kill you. So just stay in the room.
Why did
But-
they make them extras on The Walking Dead? Anyway,
Yeah, I don't
go
know. I
ahead.
don't either.
Go ahead.
That would have been.
They wouldn't even have to
perfect.
do makeup.
Yeah, you just walk down. Anyway, the point is, but like you have these cases and all that stuff, and like I said, we should stay at the Cecil Hotel. I'm still advocating for that. Like we should really do that, but that's for other reasons. Anyway, the point is, like you have cases like this where people exaggerate and everything, and you take away from the actual like real cases and stuff like that, and then you get cases that are just so old that they put a label on it and they've never changed it because they just never have changed it, and they've never looked into it further. However, there are people who are like, maybe this wasn't exactly that. You know what I mean?
I always like the ones where they're like you're saying with the haunting in Connecticut,
Yeah.
where they talk to the previous owners and they're like, "The fuck you talking about?"
Yeah, they're like, huh?
I love that. I'm like, okay, I don't believe this anymore. Like,
Yeah. Every single one of them was like, again, like, I mean, the lights flickered every now and then. Like, we heard creaking, but that could be the 150-year-old house that's here. Like,
again, ground
Like,
your house.
you know-
Like, get an electrician in there. Just
what?
reminds me of that TikTok. Hey, who did the wiring? Oh yeah, my son. He's very handy. When did his house burn down? How did you know? That's just a good guess. No, but seriously, like, and they talk to the neighbors. They talk to everything. They're like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, and then again, the rumor that was around the town was around like people who were like into that stuff. It wasn't like just some random dude that was like, yeah, he does necromancy or whatever. It was just like, no,
I'm that guy. I'm the guy. Oh yeah, that's Bill. He does necromancy.
Oh, you mean Paul the Necromancer? Yeah, no, definitely.
It was like 2 doors down.
The one up the hill that always has lightning? Yeah, that guy.
It's weird. He's always had his dog.
But no, and again, with all these cases, like one of the reasons that we started this podcast is because we wanted all this to be real, but it's really not.
The more you look at it, you're like, oh man, I really like this one.
Although my search history is irreparably damaged.
So is his
irreparably.
brain.
Say what?
So is his brain.
Wait, the cancer patient?
No, you.
Oh, I was like, dig.
No, his brain is mush.
He's dead now.
Yeah, mush.
Sad.
Mush.
No, that's JFK's head.
Oh.
Which, by the way, the file should be releasing soon.
I think I already did. No, yeah. So, I'm sorry. I know ghost stories are fun. Makes it really hard for me to like them anymore because, like, that's one of those things I genuinely want to experience. I'm so curious, like, just the feeling. Because I don't have it. I've had goosebumps. I've had all that, like where you get the hair on your neck, or like you think someone's looking. And I've had that.
And they usually are. They're just crackheads.
Yeah.
No, next week though. Next week or the week after, I can't remember exactly which one it is. I'm gonna have a case from the Appalachian Mountains. Those are fun. Those are fun. Whether they're fake or not, those are fun because I have a whole other theory of serial killers living in national parks and like wooded areas. But we'll get into that and like
Swamps.
the other ones. Yeah, swamps. They probably do, actually. Real quick, unrelated.
Easy way to get rid of the bodies. Crocodiles.
True.
Crocodiles.
True. Everglades and stuff like that. There's a whole thing that goes with that. But anyway, did you get a chance, real quick before we end all this, did you get a chance to see the leaked footage of the Delphi murders?
No.
Bro, it is eerie. Because first during the Delphi murders, you know what the Delphi murders were, right?
So.
The 2 girls that went missing on the bridge. They have pictures of the guy behind them, and then like the guy getting closer.
Oh, I think I think I've seen something about this. I don't think I ever. Really
So
read
they released just stills of the. Basically, a guy came, killed those little girls and everything like that, and hit them. And then when they were doing the search routes, randomly someone put them back, and they found them, but they never found the killer. The only thing that they found was that the little girl's phone was on Snapchat, and she recorded a video of the guy approaching them, and they released only the audio because they said the video was useless. It was like, it's useless. But so many people speculated that there was a police cover-up and there was this and that and that and that and that. And when they saw the footage, yeah, it's complete shit. Like, it helps nothing. But it has a very distinct word. It shows the girls panicking and they're freaking out. They're like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And they're freaking out. And all of a sudden you hear the guy go down the hill. They took that still and they broadcasted it around during the time that the murder investigation was going on because the voice was so distinct. When you see the video, it's the only thing that's terrifying is when you know the other pictures. Because in the pictures, there's the 2 girls walking, and in the very distance, you see a guy like,
like
looking. Yeah, he's looking, and he's like, and he has a hat
on. And they
on.
can match their clothes and everything.
They were trying to match the clothes. They were getting like sketches and stuff. They caught the guy finally, but it was forever. And then in one of the pictures, it shows him with the blue coat and everything, and he has his hands in his pocket, and he's walking across the tracks. The problem is with those tracks, it's like kind of wide, so like you have to like really focus on there because you're gonna fall. In the video, it shows Abby and Libby is walking this way, and you just see the guy in the background, and he's just like fucking walking. It's almost like a scary movie monster where he's just like walking really fast towards them.
No, it's worse. It's an actual one.
It's an actual monster, yeah. And he's walking like really fast towards them, and then all of a sudden they start the interaction, and the girl, instead of turning off Snapchat like she was instructed, she just put her phone in her pocket, which I think is probably what led to the biggest part of finding him. Was
Good.
But that
Smart girl.
Yeah, smart girl, very smart girl. But that video is eerie as fuck when you just see the girl walking and then the guy in the background just fucking going as fast as he can. You're like, oh, the thoughts that would go through my head at that moment if you're the victim. Fuck, man. Anyway,
I think they knew.
of course they did. You look at the way they're acting and you're like, oh, they knew they were gonna die. Like the jig was up for them. They
were
knew.
scared and
Yeah, especially the one who kept
Horrible.
the Snapchat going on.
Yeah.
I think she was like, "This is my only shot.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't keep this going,
They'll never find.
They'll never
who
find
did
it.
this.
yeah." So she was very smart
I'm
for
glad
that.
they did.
Yeah, she had her she never kept her location on, and then that day she had like her location on and like all that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
there's probably a good chance
I've heard of stories like that where they I think it was like a Facebook Messenger one where someone had their video on and they just happened to have it's not like a serial killer, nothing like that. I think they had their video on when a car hit them and the car did a hit and run, but because they had the video on, the camera flipped and they had a still of like the license plate.
Oh,
They just happened to I can't remember, but they're like, yeah, we found the person because they did that.
that's crazy.
Yeah, like the person sadly passed away, but they got him. They're like, no, you're going to fucking prison. Like,
I also want to
which
give
is
you.
good. Like,
oh yeah,
fuck
for
you,
sure,
dude.
for sure.
Don't ever leave. Like,
For sure. There's a case that I want to go over because I know this one's gonna piss you off, other than the Appalachian ones.
every single one you do makes me so mad.
There's one that they recently discovered and uncut all this,
Mm-hmm.
where they found a 911 operator that was hanging up on people.
I've heard. You know, he's not the only one. There's tons of them.
Bro, no, but this one led to a big ass mystery, and it's a
really?
girl. Yeah, it's a girl who on the 911 calls. She calls like 12 times. She's calling 12 times and talking to this person, and she's knocking on doors, and even the neighbors who are hearing the knocks on the doors are calling 911, and this dude is just
On all of them.
and they killed her, bro. They killed her so bad. Oh my god,
that's
dude.
like the Kitty Genovese shit.
I don't know.
Kitty Genovese.
No.
Have you seen the Watchmen? You've seen the Watchmen movie.
Yeah.
You want to hear something cool? This is way off topic. I'm just gonna.
I literally just watched the Watchmen movie. Like,
Rorschach's mask in their universe is her. He was a dressmaker. He made her a dress. She gets murdered, and it's the broken glass doctrine. It's where that comes from, or the glass door, and all where everyone didn't do anything. They saw it happen, didn't do anything. That's Kitty Genovese and Rorschach's mask. He was so furious about it. He made his mask out of the material because she wanted a material. Dr. Manhattan, he makes it for her, and so the colors never mix. They never go gray. They're always like, and he makes a mask out of her dress to go literally to fight crime.
Oh, I
That's
love that.
where it's
That's so
from.
dope.
That's the lore. Yeah,
That's so sick.
yeah.
And I've never heard of that case. That's so awesome.
Yeah, it's literally the broken windows doctrine, something like. I think that might be separate, but yeah, it's a really famous case. Or like, I think it's her case that always gets mixed up with the Black Dahlia case. Because I've heard people do that, like, oh, and they're talking where she got cut in half. That's the Black Dahlia. That's not her. That's not Kitty Genovese.
Right.
And they mix them up. I'm like, no, this woman got killed.
Yeah.
And
Jesus.
no one
bro.
did anything.
Jesus, bro. There's a lot of cases. There's a lot of like weird ass cases and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think this is a good time to wrap it up because we're
too far.
We're in comic books.
But how good is Watchmen though?
It's good.
How good is
It's
Watchmen?
good.
But anyway,
All right. I've been Tyler,
I'm still Sean.
and we'll see you guys later.
See you guys.